can't believe this fake ass shit, man. 50 Cent got y'all niggas lying now. I can't believe this. First he got y'all doing a little stunt. Yeah, I mean the little publicity stunt. Now you wanna lie.
Now if you don't know Yukmouth, his story is more twisted than a season of love on hip-hop from one half of Luniz. And yes, those are the same guys who made I Got 5 on It. Yukmouth has been through it all. Drama, check. Backstabbing, check. Surviving in the rap game while dodging more shots than Neo in the Matrix, double check. Chain snatching incidents, check. Beefs with other rappers like 50 Cent, The Game, and Spider Loc, double check. And through it all, this dude's been living his story. No filters, no fluff, just that real Oakland hustle. Lately, Yukmouth is not as popular as he used to be back in the day. So the question is, what happened to the rapper? How did his beefs get resolved? What happened that night when he got his chain snatched? We're gonna talk about it all, so buckle up, it's gonna be a wild ride. Yukmouth, whose real name is Gerald Dwight Ellis III, is born in Oakland, California, right in the heart of East Oakland, the Ville. That part of town is no joke. It's gritty, it's real, and growing up there, Yukmouth does not have it easy at all. He's out there dealing with poverty, crime, and even stretches of homelessness. Real survival mode. But even through all of that, something lights a fire within him.
There's two neighborhoods, 69th, 65th, we together, we call it the Ville, you know what I mean? It was crazy, you know what I mean, because at the end of the day, you know, like American Gangster said, like, it was like one way in, one way out the Ville. It was like the Carter, you know what I mean, literally. You come in that motherfucker one way and you get out one way.
Now what really sparks the fire is seeing another local rapper, Seagrim, blow up on Rap-A-Lot Records. That moment changes everything for him, and he goes, if he was able to make it out of this neighborhood, then so can I. So he begins grinding, writing, rapping, and hustling the local scene in order to build something from scratch. And by the early 90s, he's in the game for real. So around 1992, he links up with another Oakland rapper named Numskull, and together they form the Luniz. At this point, they're spending long nights in the studio, writing rhymes and shaping their sound. And both of them know it's their chance to make it out of the hood, so they put everything they have into it. Fast forward to 1995, and boom, I Got 5 on It drops, and this track explodes. It becomes an anthem. The beat, the hook, the vibe, everything about it screamed the streets. And eventually the song goes platinum. And just like that, Yukmouth and Numskull go from regular rappers to nationwide stars. And it's crazy. With just one hit, they flipped the script on their entire lives.
When you guys did that song, did you have any idea what it was about to do?
We knew it was gonna hit in the town, you know what I mean, period, because Drew Down had just did Pimp of the Year.
Yeah.
With Ant Banks. So we knew we had to hit hard, like coming after that. Like we had Ice Cream Man, that's cool, but it wasn't no Pimp of the fucking Year. So when we first came, we was giving all our songs to Drew Down, the first 2 albums. And when we finally started working on our album, our first song we did was I Got 5 on It.
In 1992, me and Numskull came together to form Luniz. We started getting some traction in Oakland, and then in 1995 we dropped Operation Stackola, which went platinum, all thanks to I Got 5 on It. The track really put us on the map, made the world listen to our story with Rap-A-Lot Records. But here's the thing. Yukmouth was not about to settle for just being that guy from the Luniz. He had way bigger plans, and around 1997 he made a boss move and signed a solo deal with J Prince's Rap-A-Lot Records. And that was a game changer. This wasn't just a record deal. It was a chance to go solo, say what he wanted to say, and carve his own path. Around 97, J Prince reached out, and I ended up signing with Rap-A-Lot. That was a huge moment for me. It was like stepping up from being just a part of Luniz to being my own solo artist with my own voice. It wasn't just a deal, it was a move towards independence. Now just a year later he dropped Thugged Out, The Albulation, his debut solo album, and it didn't just make waves, it went gold. He says, it was all me, my hustle, My Story, going gold without much airplay or a big label push. That was about the fans supporting the real. So at this point, Yukmouth was flourishing and he was not slowing down. He was on a mission, and after his debut album, he kept dropping heat like it was no big deal, serving up track after track. So, in 2001, he drops Thug Lord, The New Testament, and then he drops another one called Godzilla around 2003. So at this point, Yukmouth was not just that guy from the Luniz. He was Yukmouth, West Coast royalty, with a vibe that mixed smooth Cali beats with lyrics as raw as a rare steak. He had songs like Still Ballin' with Sibo, which took his reach up a notch.
Don't cry, dry your eyes, say pop, we still ballin'.
He also had $1 Million Mouthpiece, where he showed that he was not just rapping for the streets, he had versatility too. So at this point, Yukmouth was forging his own lane, but he was not without controversy. Enter 50 Cent.
Feel me? 50 in the P unit, y'all know what I mean? For the record, nigga, Pac didn't like Dre. All y'all got trying to put that G unit shit with Pac, man. Pac would have been against that and against, I'm not a racist, but he would have definitely been against the white boy. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's Elvis Presley, the rap Elvis. He rapping us for our music.
Now at this point, 50 Cent was on the rise and shutting down everyone that he had beef with, and that includes Murder Inc. Now because Yukmouth is signed to Rap-A-Lot Records, and because Rap-A-Lot Records has a direct link to Irv Gotti and Murder Inc., Yukmouth felt like he had to choose a side. And the thing is, at the time he really liked Get Rich or Die Trying, calling the album real. However, despite this, he believes that because 50 was putting so much pressure on rappers, and because 50 was revealing information, Murder Inc. got raided by the feds, and that put pressure on a lot of other labels, including Rap-A-Lot. Yukmouth feels like he has to ride for his label and the people who are putting food on his table. He feels like 50 was about to take food out of his mouth, and because the feds were getting involved, Yukmouth begins to go in on 50. Now this is where Spider Loc comes in. He gets signed to G-Unit, and naturally he decides to stand up with 50 and G-Unit. So he and Yukmouth begin to have a bit of back and forth, and eventually they get to meet each other face to face. And here's where things go left. So Yukmouth goes out to the club in Hollywood. He's having a good time, he's getting liquored up, he's feeling the music, when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he gets confronted by Spider Loc. Now at this point, Spider Loc had just signed to G-Unit, so he felt like he had a lot to prove. So an argument ensues, and right there in the club they get into an all-out fist fight. Spider Loc eventually swings on Yukmouth, and in the heat of it all, Yukmouth's chain gets snatched. And what makes the story even crazier was that there were some big names in the room. We're talking Suge Knight, Alex Thomas, Vietnam, and these were people in the industry who all saw the altercation took place and who all saw Yukmouth's chain get snatched. Now, according to the rumors, after the incident, Yukmouth ended up calling Spider Loc to get his chain back. He offered to pay $1,500 for the chain, and at this point he was very desperate to maintain his street credibility. Then, out of nowhere, a picture pops up of Spider Loc holding Yukmouth's chain, almost like he was going, "Look what I got. I just took the street credibility away from Yukmouth." But then a second version of the story comes out, and according to Spider Loc's camp, when Yukmouth showed up to the club, it was just him and another man. Meanwhile, Spider Loc had 5 or 6 guys with him and pressed him about dissing 50 Cent. According to Yukmouth's side of the story, Yukmouth said something along the lines of, "I ride with Rap-A-Lot, I'm with J Prince, and we don't respect what you're doing over there with 50 Cent. That's when Spider Loc punched him, and in the chaos, Yukmouth's chain somehow came off. Now, according to the rumors, there was also a gun involved in the altercation. One of Spider Loc's boys took it out and was like, "Yo, if you try anything, something is about to go down right now." So in essence, Yukmouth's chain got snatched and began doing a world tour.
I was there. I was the one who initiated the physical contact with Yukmouth and myself. And throughout the process, it was me and my boy Puto. We ended up on the ground. He had a little crew. It was a little rumble. And I had no idea that this was taking place. This was not on my mind. Once again, once I got in the car, Puto pulled out Yukmouth jury. So it wasn't like I was there with a robbery, mind frame, intention, or nothing. So he pulled out Yukmouth jury. He had 2 chains. Now, mind you, my brother was at the venue as well. And by the time the altercation took place, Puto and myself were the only 2 people with us left in the venue because everyone had left to go get the vehicles and go to valet. We had left as well. I tapped Puto on the shoulder like, come on, cuz, and walked back in the club, just me and him by ourselves, to approach Yukmouth on my own tip for my own reasons. So as the rumble took place and whoop-de-whoop, and now it's time to go, get in the car, we get in the car, my dog, my little Loc, my boy, he pulled up the chains. I say all this to say this. So now, when we get to the red light, my brother is following us in the car. So when we get to the light, we flossing the jury on my brother, showing him the Yukmouth chains. Now, I didn't notice at the moment I approached Yukmouth and got into altercation with him, but true to the nature of the individual I'm discussing, my brother and his crew, the reason why they was going to valet and getting in position, because they was waiting on him to come out to get that shit theyself anyway.
Now, Spider Loc was not the only G-Unit member that Yukmouth had beef with. He also took issue with none other than the game. Now, the crazy thing about their whole beef is that it all began with respect. There was a time when the game and Yukmouth actually liked each other. When the game was coming up, he claimed Yukmouth was a very underrated rapper and deserved more respect. He even said that he wanted to work with him at one point, but that respect, it flipped very quickly. Now, before all this drama, Yukmouth was killing it in the Bay. He signed with Rap a Lot, he was making noise with his solo albums. Meanwhile, the game was coming up in Compton, recovering from being hit, and studying classic rap albums. He eventually got Dr. Dre's attention, signed to Aftermath, and then G-Unit. So at this point, the game's loyalty is to G-Unit, while Yukmouth's loyalty is to Rap a Lot, a label that 50 Cent did not appreciate at the time. So Yukmouth ends up dropping diss tracks at 50 like He Ain't a Thug with Bang'em Smurf and Domination. And these are 2 guys that used to run with 50. He even dropped another track called Stunt 211.
You frontin' telling lies, you said it, you stuntin', no, run around town with detectives so-and-so.
And then the game, who is now officially G-Unit, fired back with I Got a Mill on it over Yukmouth's own song, I Got 5 on it, clowning him hard.
Slow from the Luniz won't beef, he lying. So I call E40 and try to cease the violence.
Now, when the beef initially began between the game and Yukmouth was like, wait, I thought you and I were cool. The last time I saw you, we were at Jada's release party, and we were cool. Nothing happened.
Why that nigga start the game beef? You feel me? I'm gonna tell you how this shit all started, man. I see this nigga at the little Jada Kiss album release party, man. This nigga lounging, you feel me? In the VIP area, I'm in the VIP area. And I know this nigga is in the G-Unit. So I approached the nigga to test his water, you know what I mean? See if I'm gonna have to watch my back from this nigga being in LA and him being a G-Unit nigga. So I ran up on the nigga by myself like, yo, you know what I mean? I'm Yuck. He like, what up, man? Whoop, whoop, whoop. I like your shit. I'm like, I'm feeling your shit too. I ain't fucking with your boss, man. We got beef with him. What it do? Oh, man, that's between y'all, man. I'm over there getting paid, man. I'm like, okay, get your money, man. I respect that, man. We need to bring the West back. Shook the nigga hand, you know what I mean? And bounce. The whole time I'm talking to this nigga, he holding on his chain like I'm gonna snatch his shit. If it was a problem, nigga, his blood niggas would have jumped on me. My niggas would have jumped on his blood niggas, and there would have been issues that night. Why wait, motherfucking 3 months later, hop on the motherfucking song and try to diss me? Why you didn't say no shit that night?
So according to Yukmouth, what happened is that 50 told the game to go at him because he did not expect the game to beef with him at all. He actually had respect for the game. So then Yukmouth claps back immediately with Game Over Part 1, in which he goes at the game for being on a dating show, one called Change of Heart, to living with his mom. And then he dropped Part 2, and this one contains a full music video, and in the video there appears to be a rapper who looks like the game, who gets stomped out by Yukmouth and his crew.
They don't lie, that's the tone of the streets. I drag you from your 6'4" by that G-Unit beat.
So after all of this was taking place, that's when the Spider Loc and Yukmouth incident happened, and that's when Yuck got his chain snatched in front of everybody. Now, after this incident, Yukmouth allegedly got in touch with Spider Loc. They squashed the beef, and he even got some of his jewelry back. But the tension with the game was still there. He then drops another track called Wartime, insisting that the game was not on his level, right?
Why you talking all that shit like he can't be touched? Regime against the G unit, I bring you their guts.
Yukmouth also dropped a song called All Out War, targeting the game, G Unit, and also Ice Cube.
And I ain't squashing the game beast, so fuck the rumors until he dead and deceased and pushing opportunities.
So after all of this back and forth, one of their mutual friends named Chuck eventually brings them together, and at this point the game is not really in G Unit, so he doesn't really care about the beef anymore. So the beef gets squashed, and they eventually drop tracks together like I Gotta Get This Money and Across the Coast. And after that, after years of tension, sneak disses, and real violence, it was finally over. Now remember Numskull, one half of the Luniz and Yukmouth's former partner? Well, they also had issues of their own. It all begins with their former label. At the time things were getting weird, the label was playing dirty, pitting one artist against the other, and according to Numskull, outsiders were trying to divide them, and Yukmouth eventually fell for it. Then Yukmouth signed with J Prince and Rap-A-Lot Records, and that move right there, it shifted everything. Suddenly, they were on two completely different paths. So with Yukmouth gone, their label C-Note Records, the label they came up with, begins talking about replacing Yukmouth and continuing Luniz without him. So naturally Yukmouth was not too happy about this, and this just widens the gap between him and Numskull. And then things get even worse, and money issues begin to kick in. See? Numskull was trying to make more money off of their album, so he then cuts a deal with an overseas company to re-release their album, Operation Stackola. But instead of sharing the bag, he keeps all the money to himself, and Yukmouth does not see a dime from their album. And then what escalates things even further is that at the Bars Awards, Numskull gets on stage. He grabs the mic and he says F Yukmouth. And then he bets $10,000 that Yukmouth would never confront him. But the thing is, Yukmouth's crew was not gonna let this slide. Pretty Black from the Regime charges the stage right after, and it's on from that moment. After that, it's officially war. Yukmouth drops a diss track called I Don't Miss My Dogs on his Lord of War mixtape.
So I gave you the fame. You can start without the group. They don't mention your name.
Even says that he made Luniz. He came up with a group name, their rap names, their concept, and he did all of this while he was locked up. Basically saying that he was in charge of everything. And to top it off, Yukmouth claims that Numskull stopped showing up for shows. He took money from promoters and left Yukmouth to handle everything solo.
So hold on, so you ain't never asked this nigga or called this nigga, say, nigga, what is your problem?
I asked him face to face.
what'd
He
he say?
couldn't say it. He like, oh nigga, you done put no money on my books. Like nigga, you dissed me before I ever put like you ever went to jail, nigga. Like what are you talking about?
So he ain't never explained to you why he dissed you or
Hell
why?
nah, never. That's why. Oh,
What
man.
you think is from then?
I don't know. I hope it was the G Unit shit, but you know the promotion, marketing shit.
Yeah.
But I think that's really how this nigga feel about me. You
Why
know what
though?
I mean?
I
A
mean,
lot of
what-
people
what do you
think.
think
A lot of people
it
think when I went
precipitated
solo that they like I left the nigga, but stranded or something. You could go solo too.
So in essence, Yukmouth had to make it work, turning Luniz shows into Yukmouth shows just to keep the brand alive. Now the pair have been at odds for years, but according to Yukmouth, he's open to squashing the beef in a celebrity boxing match. So he's like, if we're gonna fight anyway, let's just make money off of it. Let's build the hype, drop a reunion album, go on tour, and turn this drama into a payday. Now, even though Yukmouth was in the public eye consistently, his career was getting stifled. After leaving Rap-A-Lot Records, he began pushing forward, dropping albums under his own label Smoke-A-Lot Records. I wanted creative freedom, so after leaving Rap-A-Lot on good terms, I founded Smoke-A-Lot Records. It wasn't just about me, it was about giving others a platform too. Drew Down, Regime, even keeping Luniz connected. He also founded Godzilla Entertainment in 2003 to distribute mixtapes, but it eventually got shut down due to legal issues with the name. Now, despite the setbacks, Yukmouth remained determined. He even tried to stay relevant by dropping more projects like JJ, based on a real story, parts 1, 2, and 3, and this was all between 2017 and 2018. These projects were more underground, but they show that Yukmouth was still passionate about making music.
And this is based on a real story. I'm from the jet, so it's based on the field story.
As of now, Yukmouth is still running Smoke a Lot Records. He has kept his label alive, focusing on dropping his own music independently and supporting other artists. While he's not in the mainstream anymore like he once was, Yukmouth has not disappeared entirely. He's still active on social media, engaging with his loyal fan base and keeping his name out there. I always believed in representing the West Coast. Whether Luniz, Rap a Lot, it was all about putting us back on the map. People said I was underrated, but real ones know what we brought to the game. Yukmouth is also focusing on his family these days, taking the time to enjoy the things he missed out on during the height of his career. So what do you guys think? Did Yukmouth get the respect that he deserved? Or was he more about drama than dropping good music? Let me know down below. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.